Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael McCray, and I work within ACT-IAC as the Member Services Manager. Today I am joined by Ms. Nancy Delanoche, ACT-IAC's Director of Communities of Interest, and Mr. Todd Hager, Industry Chair of the ACT-IAC Emerging Technology Community of Interest. We would like to thank you for joining us for this ACT-IAC Lunch and Learn webinar focused around the ACT-IAC Communities of Interest. It's our hope that during this short webinar, we can answer any and all questions regarding the COIs and get you engaged in one or many of these communities. Before we start, however, I would like to go through a few housekeeping measures. Please note that for the full duration of the webinar, all participants will be muted. This webinar is also being recorded for future viewing and will be made available on the ACT-IAC Knowledge Bank if at any time you would like a refresher on the content discussed. Finally, if you have any questions after the presentation, feel free to email them to membersupport@actiac.org. How are you doing, Nancy?
I'm good. Thanks for having me here.
No problem. We just want our members to get really engaged within the association, and the COIs are definitely a place to start. And I can honestly say when I first started at the association, I met with the lead at the COI at that time, went to a couple COI meetings, and I really see the collaborative nature of the work that we're doing. So while discussing our communities of interest and engagement opportunities, I'd be remiss in mentioning how you can participate within ACT-IAC to maximize your membership. One of the many ways that you can participate within ACT-IAC was in our ACT-IAC engagement opportunities. These engagement opportunities are specifically created so that our members can collaborate with individuals from both government and industry around specific topics of interest, the planning of major ACT-IAC events, and other programming. This year's volunteers throughout the association have given their time and their subject matter expertise, leading in the creation and implementation of several white papers. They have served on volunteer leadership and have helped us plan several forums and conferences. Our engagement opportunities provide another layer as it relates to the ACT-IAC member experience and allows you, the member, the ability to provide the association with strategic thought leadership. You can find these opportunities on the association's website at www.actiac.org. When on the website, please place your mouse at the Participation tab at the top of the screen. Click the Engagement Opportunities button on the menu. Engagement opportunities are also featured in our What's Trending and Insights news publications weekly. Please note, however, some of our engagement opportunities are time-specific, so it will benefit you and members of your team to view our website regularly to get involved.
So thanks for having me here this morning, Michael. I'm excited to talk about the COIs because I think the COIs are really at the heart of ACT-IAC's collaborative forum. So ACT-IAC as an organization is unique in that our mission is to create better government, and our activities reflect that. Our activities are outcome-oriented with leaders and members from both government and industry, and all our products are produced entirely by our volunteers. At the center of that collaborative forum are the communities of interest, or COIs. All COIs are open to all ACT-IAC members from both government and industry. You can join one or you can join them all. The COIs undertake projects with a government sponsor to ensure that what we produce and what we undertake is of value to government. The COIs also sponsor regular programming, usually with a government speaker. You as a COI member or COI leaders can participate in ACT-IAC conferences. Example is the Imagination ELC coming up this October. The COIs help produce sessions, help with selecting speakers that are topically oriented and of interest to our members. The COIs also generate ideas and content for forums. Just this past year, some of the COIs have hosted the CX Summit, Network Modernization Forum, Blockchain Forum, and AI and IA Forum earlier this year, for example. The COIs are also the source of intellectual content for ACT-IAC through the development of papers, white papers, playbooks, primers, for example. And participation in the communities of interest is a member benefit and requires an active ACT-IAC membership before you can participate. If you have questions about your membership status, please feel free to contact the Membership Services team, whose contact information will be made available on the last slide. So the association currently has 7 COIs that any member can join. They are as follows. The Acquisition COI. This COI increases engagement, facilitates best practices, and focuses on program outcomes between the government and industry to improve the federal acquisition process. Next is Customer Experience, or CX. This COI explores the citizen journey by focusing on culture, training and professional development, innovation, agency support, and best practices to improve the overall customer experience. The third one is Cybersecurity. This COI provides thought leadership to address security and privacy in the midst of mission needs, applicable government policy and regulations, and the ever-changing IT security and privacy threats. The fourth one is Emerging Technology. This COI is responsible for identifying, assessing, and providing guidance for deploying emerging technologies, such as artificial intelligence, intelligent automation, blockchain, Internet of Things, etc., to become major components of the IT and business strategy. The next is Evolving the Workforce. This COI works with industry and government executives to support development of the government workforce for the 21st century. This includes best practices in human capital management, workforce development, analytics and talent management, new learning and training models, and employee engagement. The next is IT management and modernization. The COI is focused on strengthening IT management and implementation and accelerating legacy IT modernization through Capital Planning Investment Control, CPIC, the Federal Information Technology Acquisition Reform Act, or FITARA, the MGT Act, TBM, etc. And the last one is Networks and Telecommunications. This COI provides clarity, impartial feedback, points for consideration on telecommunication and mobility issues, Network Services 2020, EIS, wireless strategies, mobility, network modernization, and the future of teleworking. Recently, the COI has launched a project on 5G.
Wow, Nancy, that's a lot of information about the COIs. But the one thing that we can really appreciate about them is that they're not static. They continue to move, they continue to create product, and when a COI is no longer relevant to the community, or maybe its relevancy has diminished, we retire them and they become working groups, or they work towards providing other knowledge to the community. So we really never recycle, we really never get rid of a COI. We just really try to recycle the information and try to keep it going forward. COIs provide many opportunities for members to be involved, especially in leadership positions. Each COI has a government and industry chair and vice chair of a government and industry who lead the group by ensuring that COI activities are of value to the members and consistent with ACT-IAC strategic priorities. In addition to vice chairs and chairs, there are a host of other positions that members can engage in, which includes leads for programming, communications, and working groups. To find out who the COI leaders are for a particular COI, please go to the ACT-IAC website at www.actiac.org. Log into your ACT-IAC account. That is important. Please log in or else you will not be able to see this information. And scroll to the Participation tab and find the COI page that you are interested in. In addition to the names and their role within the COI, you can see their contact information. So if you'd like to email them and contact them about some of the goings-ons within the COI or ways that they can engage, they are happy to help. Our leaders are volunteers just like you, and they want to be able to support additional engagement within their COI. Another layer of leadership and oversight for the COIs is the ACT-IAC Collaboration Council. What used to be our COI Council, the Collaboration Council, was created to enhance communication and coordination of ACT-IAC's collaboration activities while reducing gaps, overlays, and conflicts. As a large association with many different moving parts, you can understand that we need some set of oversight to make sure that we're not stepping on each other's toes. What the Small Business Alliance is doing is not necessarily going to match up with the acquisition COI. And when there's times for collaboration, they can be brought together. The Council is responsible for recommending program plans and projects to the Executive Committee for their approval. The Council represents all collaborative activities, and liaisons from other ACT-IAC programs are involved in their management. Those Council members include the COI Council leads from the Executive Committee, the government and industry chairs and vice chairs of all the COIs, the Nexus, the Small Business Alliance, and the Institute for Innovation leads, and ACT-IAC staff.
So throughout the calendar year, the COIs host regular member meetings and activities that members can participate in. These regular meetings discuss COI priorities, regular COI business, or may host a government or industry leader or leaders discussing a variety of topics related to the COI. We encourage you to look through the ACT-IAC website and see what upcoming events there are. So these upcoming events, meetings, and opportunities can be found on the events section of the website. And as mentioned in the previous slides, in order to participate in these meetings, you will need to be an ACT-IAC member. These meetings are free to any member, whether you're a member of the COI or not. And you can decide how you want to be involved in the COI. If you have the bandwidth, you can participate in the projects. And the projects are listed on the COI members themselves, website themselves, so you can see what projects are being undertaken. Or if not, at the very least, you can just attend the COI meetings. For the most part, there's a remote participation option for these meetings, so you don't even have to leave your office.
That is amazing. We really want to encourage the fact that you can participate from your home, from your office, from the gym, wherever you want to be. You can come and participate in ACT-IAC. Please understand that we are totally inclusive. This is not an association just for the D.C. metropolitan area. This is an association for the entire country because our mission is to create better technology for the government, and the government exists everywhere. So we want you to participate in these COIs and bring your thought leadership, whether you live in California or Kalamazoo. So right now, we'd like to get ready to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Todd Hager. He is the Emerging Technology Lead for our Communities of Interest. Mr. Hager, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you both. I'm glad to be able to participate in today's call. My name is Todd Hager. I'm Vice President at Macro Solutions, and I'm in my third year now as the Industry Chair of the Emerging Technology Community of Interest. It's a great community, and I've made a lot of good friendships throughout that process. The Emerging Technology Community of Interest, as you can imagine, is a pretty dynamic organization with a lot of activity that spans across a variety of different technologies. We, as part of the Emerging Technology Community of Interest, we formed 5 working groups, each of which have their own cadence and do some of their own work that we bring back together again for presentations for government and for industry. Those working groups are blockchain, AI, machine learning, intelligent automation, IoT, and DevOps. And I encourage you, if you're interested, to reach out. My information is out there. We'd love to have more volunteers be involved. And if nothing else, just participate in our meetings or in our working groups. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Todd. So Emerging Technology is truly a busy COI. As Todd said, you can, if you have the interest, the bandwidth, and the expertise in any of these topics, we definitely encourage you to sign up and participate in these working groups. Or if not, if you have less availability in your time, then definitely just come to our meetings, hear about the latest updates in these topics, or hear about what's latest from these working groups.
Well, that's great. Todd, a real quick question. So
Sure.
What brought you first into the COI?
So I was a member, and or I was interested in the topic and attended some meetings, and I became a member. And then there was an opportunity for something that interested me, and in particular at the time it was AI, machine learning, and I helped organize a track for one of the annual meetings, and was hooked ever since. So it's a nice community, and it's a nice way to be able to interact with people, both in government and in industry, just with an affinity for a particular thing. It was kind of nice to be able to share that information and not have it be an overly formal or structured environment. So I really appreciated that.
Well, that's amazing. And then just one more question. So you've been involved for 3 years, and I assume that eventually you will have to hand off the torch to someone else to be the COI lead. What would you say you would like to see in leadership for COIs?
That's a good question. I've thought about that. And I don't think, I'm certainly not the most technical person in the group. I just like it. I enjoy, hearing about the new technologies and what the agencies are doing. But I would say the biggest, the most important thing that you can do as a COI leader would be to just make space, create a community where people can come together. And it's not very difficult. ACT provides me all the tools I need to be able to do that. But just making that space for people to come together and find ways to bring those interesting intersections out for everyone else to learn about and understand more. So you don't have to be at the top of the game for all of this, to be able to lead a community of interest or anything like that. It's just your interest can drive it, and that willingness to create a community where folks can get together and talk about those things.
Well, again, thank you for joining us.
Sure.
You've definitely given me some insights as a staff person, so I can imagine that everyone on the call has definitely benefited from some of your insights in both working in a COI and leading one. So again, thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. And so, questions about the COI. I imagine that your minds are bubbling with a lot of information that was given today, and that's okay, because our COIs, again, there's 7 of them, and they're full of information, but more importantly, they're full of opportunities. And we would love to see our members engage and maximize their membership within the COIs. If you have any questions about the COIs, please feel free to contact the ACT-IAC team. And we can be reached at 703-208-4800, or you can email us at membersupport@actiac.org. And again, as mentioned, you can contact either me or April, the membership. April serves as our Director of Member Services. You can reach her at adavis@actiac.org. I, again, serve as the Membership Manager or Member Services Manager. I can be reached at mmcrae@actiac.org. And for any COI-specific related questions, you can reach Ms. Nancy Delanoche, our Director of the Communities of Interest, at delanoche@actiac.org. Again, thank you for joining us for this short webinar. I hope that the information you have received today will really push forward your interest in participating and will hopefully allow you to really see the value in your membership. Any final words, Nancy?
Thank you, Michael, and thank you, everyone, for joining today's webinar, and I hope to see you at the next COI meeting.
All right. Well, thank you again. You guys have a wonderful day.